What's going on, everyone? Been thinking about this for a little bit now. Is Rick Hendrick, is he the godfather of NASCAR? Let's talk about it here on Stuck in the Catch Fence. Welcome back. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day, and you're probably sitting here puzzled on why this episode of Let's Talk About It is talking about Rick Hendrick being the godfather of NASCAR. Well, I'm going to be the one to tell you. If you've ever watched The Godfather, if you ever know how the history of a crime family works, essentially it's an empire that works around doing things that they shouldn't be allowed to do. But because they're so powerful, the powers that be do not present the same rules to the ones that are in power, whether it be Michael Corleone, whatever crime family you want to insert, Al Capone. They just are so strong that law and order does not apply to them. Is that the case with Kyle Larson? Are we to the point now that when Rick Hendrick snaps his fingers, that the same rules that are wrote by NASCAR don't apply to them? And I know there's a lot of Hendrick fans out there, and I know that there's a lot of people that are looking at this waiver situation from a standpoint that you completely disagree. And I'm okay with that. That's fine. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, has Rick Hendrick ever not got his way? Has he ever, in terms of ruling, has he ever not got his way? You know, like Chase Elliott got a waiver for intentionally wrecking somebody and could have seriously hurt them. And that person got suspended and they got a waiver. Kyle Larson doesn't show up to work. Had an option to show up to his full-time job and now got a waiver. Chad Knaus multiple times caught cheating on radio, telling his driver to back the car up because it won't pass inspection. Don't do it again, Rick. Don't do it again. Jeff Gordon was given a special rule to make the playoffs. You're Jeff Gordon. It's your last year. Go ahead. You're in the playoffs. If the rules don't apply to Hendrick Motorsports, then how can they apply to anybody? Think about it. Like if any of these things would have happened to anyone, maybe outside of Joe Gibbs Racing, we would not be having this conversation. If Cody Ware wanted to go run the Indy 500 and did not show up for the Coca-Cola 600, he would not get a player. He wouldn't get a waiver. It wouldn't be thought about. It wouldn't be talked about. The only reason why we even talked about the double this time compared to, say, when Kurt Busch or Robbie Gordon ran it is because there was a chance that we actually thought Kyle Larson could compete to win it. And that's good for the sport. I'm not going to take that away from it. But if you don't show up to your job, there's typically consequences. When there's rules, hypothetically, I guess, whenever you're in NASCAR and you put in clauses that say, and at any given time, we can just do whatever the hell we want, there's typically consequences for not showing up to work, whether it's a point, whether it's anything. But when you're Rick Hendrick, when you're the Godfather, everybody has to kiss your watch if you're NASCAR. We know that Rick Hendrick put a lot of money to send Kyle Larson to Indianapolis, to fly him to Indianapolis, to make sure the logistics were right so that he could be there, run his car at the All-Star race, the All-Star race get delayed. All of these things were made for Rick Hendrick. So if NASCAR wants to be a serious organizing body, a serious professional motorsport, how can it be taken seriously if the number one most successful organization in it doesn't have to play by the same rules as everybody else. Do I think Kyle Larson should be given a waiver? No. Based upon the rule, it doesn't make any sense. And if it's somebody else that did it outside of Chase Elliott, I don't think they get granted the same leniency because of the rule. Now, if you want to go with what is precedent, then sure. Do I think it helps NASCAR not having Kyle Larson there? No. I think Kyle Larson has to be in the playoffs. But when NASCAR continuously sets itself up to make up its own rules as we go, then we're looking more as an organizing body for the WWE and how serious it takes itself with storylines versus actually the competition and competing for a championship. NASCAR gains no IndyCar fans because there's only about 300,000 real ones on a weekly basis by having Kyle Larson come back. But IndyCar gains everything. The 5 million fans on a given week. This past week, I think it was 2.8 million at Gateway on cable television, not on network TV, on cable television. That is an infinite more group of people that they're trying to gain. I was one of them. But NASCAR doesn't take it so seriously, and I think fans have finally gotten to the point that they don't take it seriously as well. From the playoffs and how they continuously have altered it, from the decisions that they make at times to anything, the NASCAR does not take itself seriously, and it will never take itself seriously if they're afraid of the biggest owner in the sport. NASCAR succeeded before Hendrick. It could succeed after Hendrick. And if they want parity, then they can't continuously treat one team different than anybody else. It's already been reported that if they decide to go to a 3-charter system, a 3-charter per ownership group, that Hendrick doesn't have to play by those rules. That they still get to keep 4 cars. Temporarily, reportedly, but we know that's not going to be the case. Because if Rick Hendrick says, come and kiss the ring, NASCAR says, when, where, and what lipstick do you want me to wear? Rick Hendrick's got it made. He gets to own a part of NASCAR in the competition side of it, and he gets to run a part of it on the competition side. And everybody is afraid to speak up to the Godfather. That's how I look at it, man. That's how I view it. Maybe you view it differently. Maybe you just think, everybody should be able to do what they want. Everybody should not be able to show up to work and it'd be okay. Things of that nature. And if that's how you feel it, that's fine. And I don't think it's good for NASCAR. NASCAR keeps putting itself in a situation for these things to arise. It's not Kyle Larson's fault. Kyle Larson knew this was going to happen. Oh, but they showed him. They waited 5 days to not come up with an opinion. Okay. They got us talking about it by saying nothing. By pretending he doesn't have playoff points. That lasted for 2 days. If NASCAR wants to take itself seriously, then it should operate itself seriously. And as long as it keeps letting the Godfather be in control, that'll never happen. That's my take. Let's talk about it. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. If you want to find us, like and subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time listening to this, my name's Ryan Peters. Travis Butt is here as well. Joe Spillman, all kinds of different live sessions when it comes to following him on Twitch. We're trying to upgrade and improve our Stuck in the Catch Fence live streams when it comes to iRacing. We'll have weekly shows. I was out at WWT. That's why some of the stuff that we normally do didn't hit this weekend. But again, and I also want to thank everybody. We hit 1,000 subscribers. That's a huge monumental goal for us, and we really, really appreciate that. If you want to continue to show support, you can like the channel on Facebook. that would be great. We're trying to now grow that channel. The more of you that get to see the channel, the more people that we can reach, the bigger conversation we can have, and we want you to be a part of it. So let's talk about it. Is Rick Hendrick the Godfather? I'd like to know. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, and like always, God bless.
What I cannot do.
I'll give you anything you ask.
We've known each other many years, but this is the first time you ever came to me for counsel, for help. I can't remember the last time that you invited me to your house for a cup of coffee. Even though my wife is godmother to your only child. But let's be frank, you never wanted my friendship. And you were afraid to be in my debt.
I didn't want to get into trouble.
I understand. You found paradise in America. Had a good trade, made a good living, police protected you, and there were courts of law. And you didn't need a friend like me. But now you come to me and you say, Don Corleone, give me justice. But you don't ask with respect. You don't offer friendship. You don't even think to call me Godfather. Instead, you come into my house on the day my daughter's to be married and you ask me to do murder. Money.
I ask you for justice.
That is not justice. Your daughter's